Sometimes the biggest land grabs don't come from strangers in ski masks, but from neighbors with business cards, a clipboard, and a knack for making trouble sound official. Nobody tells you that. They don't warn you. The fight for your own ground might come at the end of a hallway, not a gun barrel, a stack of forms, not a midnight raid. Picture a quiet river road locked tight behind an iron gate. Out here, it's the kind of place where the only thing louder than the wind is your own boots on dirt. That road, deeded and private, ran along the water since before the town had a stoplight. The paperwork had my name, county stamped and clean. But in Redwater Valley, facts have a way of getting trampled once somebody starts calling your land public and hanging flyers on community boards. It happened fast. One night the wind was howling off the river and the lock on my gate was just catching the light when headlights snapped across the pasture, harsh and sudden. The iron bars became a stage and Donald Snipe, the HOA security, stepped out. He had a patch on his uniform, a pistol in his grip, not trembling but not steady either, just threatening. Behind him, a younger guard hovered by the SUV, hands twitching at his belt, wanting this over before it even started. Donald didn't waste time with pleasantries. "Open the gate," he ordered. "This is a public HOA access road." The words made my stomach drop, then burn. He didn't ask my name or what I was doing on my own land. He only stared down the gate chin high like it had personally offended him. Just then, Sarah appeared, my neighbor, the kind of calm that makes people uncomfortable. She stepped into the porch light and told Donald to holster his weapon. He turned on her all bluster, but she didn't flinch. "It concerns me when you point a gun at people on private land," she said. "Public show the recorded easement." Donald scoffed. "We've got procedure. Community access must remain open." He leaned into those words like they could turn trespassing into town policy if nobody called him out. But Sarah started recording. "Say it again. Say the part where you claim my father's river access road is public HOA property." His eyes darted from her phone back to me, voice sharp. "This is HOA jurisdiction now. Open the gate." No sudden moves. Hands down, voice even. "That river road isn't yours," I said. "I'm not a member. I'm the owner." For a few heartbeats, the only sounds were the idling engine and the far-off rush of the river. Donald's face twisted. "You don't get to opt out." But I had the deed in my hand, not a membership card. Sarah held the line. "Holster it, step back to your vehicle and leave." Donald wavered the gun, dipping just enough to show calculation, not defeat. "Fine. Expect fines. Expect board action." They backed away, SUV tires chewing up gravel as the night rushed back in around us. That should have ended it, but paper wars last longer than any standoff at a gate. Sarah and I started documenting everything: camera footage, notices, photos of tire tracks. The phone rang before we could finish the coffee. Sheriff McKay, voice gravelly and heavy. "Jake, you still got cameras on your north gate. One of my deputies saw HOA vehicles parked on your land. Lights off, engines running. Don't give them anything they can twist." By sunrise, the gate looked worn, accused. A new sheet of paper was thumbtacked to the post: public access road, HOA jurisdiction. Not a request, not a plea, just HOA, speak about compliance, maintenance, community. Not a single mention of owner. Sarah said, "Don't pull it yet. I want it documented." She recorded everything, crouching to get tire tracks, photographing the sign, catching every angle. She stood, eyes meeting mine. They came back. The words tasted bitter. This wasn't about safety. It was about language, the kind that turns taking into rulemaking. We tried to get ahead of the rumors. At the diner, the bulletin board was already plastered with community notices. My name scribbled underneath: "Jake blocked the public road." Waitress voice, soft, asked, "You okay, Jake?" "There's no public road on my land," I said. "Not today, not ever." Sarah leaned over, quiet. "Make it social first, legal second." Certified mail at this post office, a violation notice, fines, threats, all signed by Bethany Whitfield, HOA president. No mention of the deed. Just polite words used like a hammer. Bethany herself pulled up in a white SUV, blazer, earrings, hair perfect. She smiled and said the words like she'd practiced in the mirror. "Your access road is public HOA property. It must remain accessible." I showed her the deed. She barely glanced at it. "That document is under review. Until the county clarifies HOA will treat the road as community access. Sarah recorded her eyes steady and made her repeat every lie for the record. Down at the county office, a clerk handed us a folder thick as an old Bible. Petition to annex the road stamped and filed. They weren't enforcing rules, they were trying to rewrite ownership. That night, rain hammered the roof. The trail cam beeped 2 men in rain slickers' flashlights at my gate. Sarah and I went out porch light bright for the cameras. Evening, I called. HOA security restoring public access, one shouted. Show the recorded easement. Sarah answered calm as ice. Lightning lit their faces, caught documented. You touch that chain, you'll answer to the county. They backed off, SUV fishtailing in the mud. But the paperwork kept coming, notice of intent to seek injunction, threats of administrative hearings, fines. Sheriff McKay came by again. They'll say you obstructed a public road. He looked at the camera stills. Keep everything. The twist hit when Sarah found an envelope tucked under a rock at the post inside a flash drive labeled Proof. That night, trail cam caught Donald Snipe himself staring straight into the lens at 2:47 a.m., bold as brass. The next hearing, the HOA packed the clubhouse. Bethany presided like a judge, Donald lurking at the wall. Bethany called it Community Access Safety Inspection Authority. Sarah leaned in, whispering, she's legalizing trespass. When the time came, I stood and asked, under what authority is my river access road public HOA property? Bethany dodged. The crowd murmured. People started remembering the road's always been Morrison land. Sarah stood up. Show the easement. The room shifted, suspicion spreading. That's when Marcus Reed, attorney and friend, showed up with the twist evidence, paperwork, emails keep Morrison under pressure. He laid it out slide by slide, maps, ledgers, the filed petition. Fraud, plain and simple. HOA, money going to a shell contractor, threats dressed up as procedure. Marcus flashed his badge. Federal jurisdiction applies when funds are misrepresented. Sheriff McKay stepped in, told Bethany to sit down. The room broke open. Neighbors started talking, towed trucks, threats, silence, bought with fear. The county called an emergency hearing. Judge Ramirez presided, no time for speeches. A deed is not a popularity contest. After reviewing every file, he suspended the HOA's leadership. County oversight, a new committee. For the first time, the weight of justice landed on the right side of the fence. The final day, courthouse air, honest and cold. Folders thick with facts, deeds, surveys, receipts laid out one by one. Bethany's lawyer argued good faith. Marcus countered with maps, certified deeds, the filed petition. Sarah calmly detailed how public had been used to cover fraud ledgers showing payments to a family-tied contractor. Emails, keep Morrison under pressure. Ramirez looked over everything. The Morrison River Access Road is private property by deed. The HOA's jurisdiction ends at Mr. Morrison's fence line. Any enforcement action under the false claim of public access is improper. The gavel dropped quiet, final. Out at the gate, under a pale afternoon sun, I bolted up a cedar plaque, carved Deep River Access Road, private by deed, protected by law. The chain didn't feel like a weapon anymore, just a line nobody would cross again. The lesson hit slow. It's not the drama at the gate that'll break you, it's the quiet, steady pressure. A neighbor's rumor, a polite notice, a petition filed while you're out fixing fences. Justice isn't loud. It's a stack of facts, earned and stubborn, standing where you stand. That's what Sarah taught me. Don't shout louder, just prove quieter. And when Judge Ramirez's order was read, the old River Road claim finally died on paper, where it belonged. The neighbors realized public had been used like a crowbar. Finally, someone fought back. The wind ran through the grass, the kind of quiet you have to earn. So now the question hangs in the air. What line would you refuse to let anyone cross, no matter how official their paperwork looks? Ever had to draw your own boundary on land or anywhere else? Drop your story below. There's always someone listening for the next fight worth fighting.